The discussion involving Terrence Howard, Beyoncé and Jay-Z is rooted in events and relationships that date back to the early 2000s, a period when each individual was establishing a distinct position within the entertainment industry. At that time, Terrence Howard was building a reputation as a serious actor, taking on roles that emphasized intensity and range. His work would later lead to broader recognition, including an Academy Award nomination for Hustle and Flow. In parallel, Beyoncé was transitioning from her role in Destiny's Child into a solo career, a move that marked the beginning of her development into a global figure in music and entertainment. During this period, professional paths between actors and musicians often intersected through award shows, industry events, and collaborative environments. It is within this context that Howard has described early interactions with Beyoncé, presenting them as more personal than what was publicly known at the time. According to his account, there was a mutual connection that developed before Beyoncé's long-term relationship with Jay-Z became established. These claims are based on Howard's personal recollection and have not been independently confirmed by other parties involved. Howard has also described a separate decision that influenced these early interactions. He stated that he pursued a relationship with another member of Destiny's Child, identifying her as the member with blue eyes, which has been interpreted in public discussion as a reference to Farrah Franklin. This decision, in his account, introduced tension between himself and Beyoncé, shaping how their interactions unfolded in subsequent public settings. These details form part of a narrative that relies on retrospective interpretation rather than contemporaneous documentation. A specific moment often referenced in connection with these claims is a performance of "Cater to You" at the 2005 BET Awards. During this performance, Beyoncé brought Terrence Howard onto the stage as part of the choreography, engaging him in a segment that was presented to the audience as part of the show. At the time, the moment was widely interpreted as a standard element of performance design, consistent with the song's theme and the group's stage presentation. Howard now attributes a different motivation to that moment, suggesting it carried a personal message connected to their earlier interactions. This interpretation remains his own and has not been substantiated by Beyoncé or her representatives. The re-emergence of these claims has drawn attention to the broader narrative surrounding Beyoncé and Jay-Z's relationship. Over the years, the couple has maintained a controlled public image, emphasizing stability and partnership while limiting direct responses to speculation. Their approach has often involved addressing personal themes through music, rather than interviews or public statements. Albums such as Lemonade and 444 have been interpreted as reflections on aspects of their relationship, including challenges and reconciliation, without providing explicit confirmation of specific rumors. Within this context, Howard's comments introduce an alternative perspective on the early timeline of Beyoncé's personal relationships. His account suggests that multiple connections may have existed before her relationship with Jay-Z became firmly established. This aligns with broader discussions that have occasionally referenced other figures connected to Beyoncé during that period, although these discussions remain largely speculative and are not supported by verified documentation. Additional references in public discourse include collaborations such as Baby Boy with Sean Paul, where rumors about off-stage dynamics were reported in media coverage at the time. Sean Paul has addressed these rumors in later interviews, clarifying his position and describing how such narratives affected professional interactions. These examples illustrate how public interpretation can extend beyond confirmed facts, particularly when involving high-profile figures. The current narrative is therefore shaped by a combination of documented events, such as performances and collaborations, and retrospective claims that reinterpret those events. Howard's statements contribute to this discussion by offering a personal account that differs from the established public narrative. At the same time, the absence of confirmation from other individuals involved limits the extent to which these claims can be treated as verified history. The situation remains defined by this distinction between documented fact and individual perspective. The early 2000s context provides the setting in which these interactions occurred, while current commentary reflects how those events are being reconsidered. The narrative develops through Terrence Howard's detailed recollection of events that he believes shaped his early interactions with Beyoncé. His account centers on a sequence of personal decisions and public moments that, in his view, were connected more closely than they appeared at the time. The foundation of this perspective lies in his claim that an initial mutual interest existed, followed by a shift in direction when he chose to pursue a relationship with another member of Destiny's Child. Howard's reference to the blue-eyed member, widely interpreted as Farrah Franklin, is presented as a key turning point. According to his account, this decision introduced a level of tension that influenced later interactions. He suggests that this tension was not addressed directly but instead surfaced in subtle ways within public settings. These assertions rely on his interpretation of events, rather than on contemporaneous statements or corroboration from others involved. The 2005 BET Awards performance of Cater to You is central to this interpretation. During the performance, Beyoncé selected Howard from the audience and included him in a choreographed segment that involved close physical interaction. At the time, this moment was widely viewed as part of the performance's design, consistent with how the song was staged in other appearances. However, Howard now attributes a personal intention to the moment, stating that he believes he was chosen specifically because of their earlier connection and his decision to pursue someone else. This reinterpretation has influenced how the performance is discussed in current conversations. What was previously understood as a standard element of stagecraft is now being reconsidered through the lens of Howard's claims. Despite this shift in interpretation, there has been no confirmation from Beyoncé or her team regarding any personal motive behind the performance. As a result, the event remains a documented public moment with differing explanations attached to it. The narrative extends beyond this single event to include broader discussions about Beyoncé's relationships during the early 2000s. Reports referencing her collaboration with Sean Paul on Baby Boy have been revisited, particularly in relation to rumors that circulated at the time about their professional and personal dynamic. Sean Paul has addressed these rumors in interviews, stating that they were exaggerated and that they influenced how their collaboration was managed in public appearances. These accounts provide an example of how speculation can affect professional relationships without being supported by confirmed evidence. Further context is drawn from statements attributed to Tina Knowles, who has spoken about a period when Beyoncé faced a choice between two potential partners. This account suggests that the decision was influenced by personal compatibility rather than external pressure. While Howard's narrative positions himself within this broader context, there is no direct confirmation linking his account to the specific circumstances described by Tina Knowles. Additional elements in the storyline include recurring speculation about figures within Beyoncé's professional environment, such as her longtime bodyguard Julius DeBoer. These discussions have been sustained through media coverage and online commentary, although they remain unverified and are not supported by formal statements. Their inclusion in the narrative reflects a pattern in which multiple claims are connected to form a wider interpretation of events. Howard's comments also introduce a perspective on timing, suggesting that his interactions with Beyoncé occurred during a period before her relationship with Jay-Z became firmly established. This claim challenges the commonly understood timeline. Although it is presented without supporting documentation, the absence of confirmation from other parties involved leaves this aspect of the narrative unresolved. Across these elements, the storyline is defined by the interaction between public events and retrospective interpretation. Documented moments, such as performances and collaborations, provide a factual basis, while Howard's account offers an alternative explanation of their significance. The lack of corroboration from other individuals involved maintains a distinction between what is known and what is claimed. The narrative therefore develops through the accumulation of these perspectives. Each element contributes to a broader discussion about how personal relationships and public appearances intersect within the entertainment industry. At the same time, the absence of verified confirmation for key claims ensures that the situation remains open to interpretation rather than reaching a definitive conclusion.